Okay, so I don't know if you can see this hill just behind me here. It's not too crazy, but I'm gonna just do a 0 start on acceleration only. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, speed is still increasing. 250 watt motor, we're going 13, 14, 15 kilometers an hour. Okay, so let's do a brake test. 15, 16, 20 kilometers an hour. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, very good brakes on this. Okay, first ride on the P20. I'm going to use acceleration only on gear 3. And let's see what top speed we can get up to. We are also at a full charge on this e-bike. And I'm going to explain later on in the video, basically, this e-bike comes restricted if you are in the EU. So I'm going to tell you something in a few minutes on how this can be actually solved. But as you can see, acceleration only, top speed on this very, very small LCD display is 32 kilometers per hour. So if you're outside the EU, that is the top speed. If you're in the EU, it is 25 kilometers per hour. But don't worry, again, I'm going to give you a tip or two later on in the video. One of the things that I actually really like about this is it's quiet. And it has hydraulic brakes that are the best. Like hydraulic brakes all the way. Mechanical disc brakes are not the best I've found in the past. So I'm really happy so far. The handlebars are nice and wide, quite generous as well. Of course you're not going too crazy high speeds, but it does give you nice kind of comfort. Grips are not too bad, kind of like a nice soft rubber material. So again, really nice. And let me just show you something here. A brilliant feature of this as well. This actually has a good few features, but I'll explain what else it has in a few minutes. But again, look at that. Simply adjust your handlebar height to wherever you want. Now you might be saying, can you go over the top speed while pedaling? Well, let's try. Okay, we're going 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 35 kilometers per hour pedaling only. So that's actually good, because some e-bikes I've reviewed, you cannot actually pedal faster than the actual speed that's stated. So in that case, that's actually really nice to see. You have indicators on this model, left, right. You also have a integrated headlight that I'll show as well. So again, very nice. No matter what height you are, you have those adjustable handlebars. You have, of course, an adjustable saddle. Tires on this, 20-inch pneumatic tires. Quite good quality, very smooth, give very good grip as well. I love how nimble this bike is. It is so light. And you do have a 250 watt motor with just over 40 newton meters of torque. So it will get you up the average size hill. Of course, you can pedal the bike as well. So it's actually really nothing to worry about when it comes to hills. Once they're not too crazy, like 20 degree plus. Once you use your legs and the motor assistance, you should be fine. Okay, you don't have suspension on the P20 model, but to be honest, it's not really a deal breaker for me, because this is not an off-road bike. It's for roads like this that are, you know, really nice and smooth, nothing crazy. I know I'm being lazy here, but of course I can just use my legs if I want to. It kind of has a more of a premium feel compared to some bikes I've had in the past, like Fido. Fido bikes, I think, are overpriced, overhyped, and I don't think they're worth the money. But Engwe seem to always step up things as far as features go. So brake test. Oh yeah, the brakes are just phenomenal on this. So let's break the P20 down to what I like, what I dislike about it. I'm trying to think of a few things that could be improved upon, to be completely honest. So enough talking, let's get into it. As well, actually, something really nice about this bike is that the frame is actually quite long, but the bike is very comfortable. So there's actually plenty of space between my legs and the handlebars. So if you're somebody that has like really long legs, it'll actually be very comfortable regardless. So again, it doesn't matter how tall you are or how small you are, the bike will be comfortable for anybody. Well, this is the P20 model that Engwe sent me to review. Now, I've had so many big bikes on the channel this year. Sometimes it's nice to receive something small. And this actually has a good few features that the bigger bikes do not have. So I'm going to explain what they are now in a second, but let's talk about the specs. So what we have on this P20 model is a 36 volt battery that is 9.6 amp hours that can give you a range of up to 100 kilometers. Of course, if you are just using gear 1, for example, you will get the max distance. If you are using gear 3, going as fast as possible, you will get the least distance. Faster you go, the faster the battery drains. But I gotta say, it is really nice to see a bike like this that has something that I've actually, a force for me over the years I've been doing this, that I've never seen this feature. I'm going to show you that now in a second. Now on the back here we have a 250 watt motor that actually has just over 40 newton meters of torque, which means any decent size hill you should be able to get up. But the bonus is as well, you can actually use your legs to get you up even steeper hills. So that's really nice to see. Plus it falls in within general regulations within the EU of a lot of places that have 250 watt motor restrictions. So for that reason, it's a bonus. Also on this bike, you have a integrated front light that is actually really nice to see. And by the way, this bike is one of the lightest bikes I've ever had. It's just under 20 kilos, so even one hand can actually do it. To be honest, that is absolutely fantastic. And yes, this bike does fold, so let me just turn it around here. Again, for portability and for things to be compact, it's really nice. You just pop your latch out, literally like that. Then you just simply fold the bike in on itself. And as well, if you want, in addition, you can actually just collapse your handlebars like this. So it makes it even, like, look at the size of that. I mean, absolutely tiny. So ideal for public transport. You simply pop up your handlebars, turn the bike back around and pop your latch in, and that's it. Fat tire bikes are more awkward folding them in half because they're heavy, because of the size of the tires alone on them. That's really nice to see on this. It literally takes you a matter of seconds. Now another thing, before I show you a really cool feature on this, is on a lot of bikes the battery is actually within the frame itself, so it means you have to fold the bike to take that battery out, which is a major inconvenience and it's not practical. So what does this have? Well, it does have a detachable battery. You get 2 keys. You simply pop it in the back here and look, taken out in a matter of seconds. Very nice. And of course you can simply charge this in the normal charging port right here, at home, under your desk, doesn't really matter. And again, you don't even need the keys to put it back in. You just pop it down back into the chamber there, clicks in, and that's it. Very nice feature. So if you end up locking this bike, by the way, you can put a lock around this point here. So for outdoors, you use something like a kryptonite lock, for example, pop it through here. You could use an additional lock as well for this part of the frame, and then take your battery out. Most of the time, nobody's really going to rob a bike if they see the battery is taken out. So it's a good deterrent and a fantastic feature that I'd like to see on more e-bikes, the way you can just take it out like that. A few of the fat tire bikes I got recently, for some reason, they don't have foldable pedals. And on this, it does. That's really nice. So it makes the bike even more compact instead of them sticking out. But it has another feature that I've never tried, and this is a first for me. Take a look at what we have here. Carbon belt. What does that mean? Well, first of all, it makes the bike a lot lighter. Lifespan of these belts, I've actually seen online, can be up to well over 10,000 kilometers. No maintenance. You've no oil getting on your trousers. It's really thick. Nice bit of tension there. You have your cog at the back here with the 250 watt motor. It's just a convenient factor. So of course this would be quite simple to change, to be honest. compared to like a chain on a bike. So that is really nice to see. I would love to see more fat tire bikes actually adopting this style instead of having gears. So you have the tension there, and of course if the battery goes flat on this e-bike, you can just pedal it to get home. Very nice to see. You've no clicking, you don't have to adjust any gears, nothing like that at all. Your chain won't fall off, belt won't fall off. So a very nice simplistic design. Follow the mechanism on this is actually quite strong, nothing really to worry about at all. Cable management, this is actually really nice and tidy. Of course it is a bit chunky because bear in mind you do have full hydraulic brakes on this that do have sensors inside. Plus you have your accelerator here as well, and you have your display here and your indicator. So that is actually what those cables are. The rear rack on this bike can support up to 15 kilos. This already comes assembled like this. Saddle is actually quite a nice design. Basically, I guess you say canal here is good for airflow to kind of cool your back end. But it's very nice to the touch. It's not hard at all. And it's probably one of the most comfortable saddles I've actually ever had on a bike. Coming up here, you have these, of course, these rubber grips here that are more or less quite comfortable. Hydraulic brakes, display here. To turn on the bike, you simply hold down this button. Don't mind that flickering, that's actually because of the camera, because of the hertz. So the display is steady, by the way. To go through your gears, you simply go 1, 2 and 3, 3 being the fastest. And this is your accelerator here, which again is really nice simplistic design. So you can pedal the bike or use the accelerator. And the accelerator, I've never actually had one like this on a scooter either. Really nice. Basically it's not too cheap. It has a really nice rubber part here as well for your finger so it doesn't slip off. Okay, it is a bit bigger than the average size accelerator, but it does the job, and it has more of a, I guess you could say, more expensive feel compared to standard flimsy plastic throttles that you get a lot nowadays. Very nice to see. And of course you have your bell here and indicators. Overall it's a pretty cool looking bike. Okay, so let's do a recap. 250 watt motor, removable battery, full hydraulic brakes, front light, rear lights, indicators, rear rack, adjustable handlebars, adjustable saddle, foldable. Frame is pretty much solid on this bike. It's quiet, it is very well built. Tires give a fantastic grip as well on this. So performance, design, safety, comfort, all tick everything. So who is this for? Well, to be honest, this bike is for anybody. If you live in a city, if you live in an area where the transport is quite bad, public transport, or sitting in your car all the time trying to get to work, that's where something like this can come in. Even if you have to travel like 30, 40, 50 kilometers a day, this bike will do it because you have the battery there, and you can just pedal the bike as well if you happen to run out of battery, for example, one day. So everything is going for this bike, and you also have like quick release connectors here as well. Of course, it's not an off-road bike. It doesn't have suspension. So if you live in an area where it's very bumpy, of course, don't buy anything like this if the roads are really, really bad. Overall, though, it's an all-rounder of a bike and will suit beginners or people looking to step up from a slightly, really small bike like a Fido D2S or something like that, that want the bigger tires and, of course, the other features that this bike has. So it's a really good bike, and I think anybody who actually buys this will be very, very happy. But okay, what is the value of the P20? Well, lately a lot of Engwe bikes have actually been on sale, so I definitely suggest going and check out the latest prices on their models. But currently, as I'm recording this video right now, the bike is normally around €1,300 to buy, but it's actually at around €1,000. Briefly, I just want to address the speed issue. Okay, let's say you live in the EU, you buy this bike. You'll notice straight away that when you go to use the accelerator, the top speeds you can get on gear 1, 2 and 3 is actually only 5 kilometers per hour. Okay, when you're pedaling, the top speed is 25 kilometers per hour. So you have a bit of a problem there. If you live outside the EU, you don't have any of this, it's fully unlocked to 32 kilometers per hour. Even when you're using the acceleration only, like what you saw, which is the 32 kilometers per hour. Or if you're pedaling, again, 32 kilometers per hour. But how do you unlock the bike? Okay, I'm not going to tell you how to unlock the bike, but all I can say is just do your own research. You're already on YouTube, if you get me. So if you live in a country where the speed is not restricted, simply just do your own research and you'll have it done in about 30-40 seconds. Put it that way. So it's very easy to unlock. So if you are looking for something that has a bit more suspension, that's a bit more chunky, I'm going to stick my most popular playlist on the screen right now. That would be like the Engwe bikes that have suspension, fat tire bikes, that type of thing, that are obviously a lot faster but a lot more expensive. But in the meantime, if you have enjoyed this video, give it a like. It does help the channel out. Subscribe, of course, if you want, and I'll talk to you in the next video.